Hello and welcome to week 2 of our back care Drew course. Thank you very much to Helen for being my very able student again. So we're going to start by loosening up, and let's just start with one hand and really concentrate on the joints of the fingers. Give them a good wiggle and then the rest. Lovely circles and then a shake. Little shake of the hand, and you can bring the other hand in. Don't forget to wiggle those joints. Move the wrists, shake the hands. Get rid of any tension. Bend the knees. My feet are hip width apart. My knees are soft. Got my tummy slightly drawn in, and just give your hands a good shake. Now open and close the elbows. And start rolling the shoulders. Now remember, we only do things that feel right and feel comfortable. If anything's uncomfortable or painful, we definitely don't do that. So you can do this sitting if you prefer, and give both arms a really good shake. So if you're sitting, you can lift one foot, you can hold it, you can put a cushion underneath it. If you're standing, you might need to balance. Wiggle the toes, spread the toes, see if you can spread them open. Lift the toes up and down, get into that ankle, opening and closing the knee. Big circles with the hips, hold on if you need to, don't be shy. So I'd like to congratulate you all on making the time for yourself to do this yoga. I don't expect you to do the whole yoga every day, but if you learn a couple of the exercises that they can become familiar, your favourites, you can perhaps do 1 or 2 every day. Change to the other foot, wiggle the toes, and your back will just be so much freer and easier, and it'll get stronger the more you do this stretching and those wonderful movements we learned last week. So we're going to progress on from those today. So opening up into the ankle, take a circle, opening and closing the hip, the knee, and big circles into the hip. Great. And now give the whole body really good movement. Whatever feels right. Wave to the ceiling, wave to the floor, and do some really deep bends. Little back bend, keep the chin tucked in, don't take the chin back, otherwise it stretches the neck. Lovely. Okay, a little bit more warming up. So just pretend you've got a ball, a football-sized ball between your hands, your knees are soft. I've taken my feet slightly more than hip width, and I'm just going to start this ball movement in front of the heart in a figure of 8. So try to keep the hands the same sort of distance. You put your hands too close together, your shoulders will feel pinched, and if they're too wide apart, then you won't have the whole body moving. So a lovely movement in front of the heart. And now start to make the movement bigger, keeping the knees soft. Bend the knees, whatever feels comfortable. If you're sitting in the chair, you're using your back, you're using your shoulders, you're using your elbows. Whoops. And take that ball behind you and above you. Do the figure of 8 above you. Take it round to the side. Really use the whole body. And you can paint it on the floor. Keeping the feet really wide apart, bending into each knee. Use the weight to transfer from side to side. And now we're going to start bringing it closer in. Make that figure of 8 a little bit smaller, and bring it slowly to stillness here in front of the heart. And now just allow your hands to drop down by your side Your feet are hip width apart, which remember last week we said was you could put 2 fists between your feet and just stand and listen to your breathing. Let your heart rate settle, let your breathing settle. Feel your feet firmly pressed on the floor. If you're sitting, you can still press your feet firmly on the floor. Try to have the weight evenly distributed between the whole of the foot. So imagine the foot square, imagine the 4 corners of the foot, the weight's evenly distributed. The toes are not squinched up, the foot is even. And now bring your awareness up your legs. Your knees are soft, they're not tight, nothing's tight around the knees and the thighs. Bring the awareness up to your tail and your tummy. Your tailbone slightly tucked in, the tummy muscles are slightly engaged. You're lifting your chest bone, this is the sternum or the chest bone. If we lift this, then it just engages these muscles, makes us look a couple of pounds slimmer. And now the shoulders come up and back and down and the arms are loose. The back of the neck is long, the chin is straight, and we're standing in our mountain pose. So this is a yoga posture called the mountain pose. Just imagine the strength of the mountain. Allow the arms to just dangle, the hands are loose. Imagine the mountain in its spring green. My mountain's got some lambs bouncing around and got some primroses. You can close your eyes if you want to, just imagine your mountain. And feel the strength that mountain's survived. And if you're feeling a little bit tight or stressed, anxious, everybody's clamouring, remember your mountain. Okay? That's a bit of yoga talk for you. Okay, so now we're going to start today's lesson lying flat on our backs. So make sure you're comfortable. If you're sitting, you just sit up nice and straight. And if you're sitting, just keep your body upright and keep your feet planted on the floor. If you're lying down, push your heels away and you'll feel that just tightens the muscle around the kneecap, tightens the thighs. And if you want to, if your shoulders are comfortable, you can stretch your hands out behind you, give yourself a really good long stretch. If it's uncomfortable for the shoulders, keep the arms down by the side. Now bend the knees, place the hands on the belly and keep the fingers apart. Don't let the fingers press down too much to stop your breathing. And I just want you to feel, if you breathe in and tighten the tummy muscles, that you're pushing the small of the back down on the floor. And relax. So let the breath do the work. Breathing in, pull the small of the back down into the floor. And you might be able to feel that lifts the tailbone. And this is a very simple strengthening tummy muscle exercise. Very good if you've just had a baby and you want to start tightening your tummy muscles. Very good if you've got back pain because you're not actually doing any energetic, what do they call them, crunches and things like that. Okay, so we're just tightening and releasing. And now you'll feel that your tailbone's lifting like we did last week. Lift the tailbone and relax with the breath. And as you lift the tailbone, see if you can just let the next vertebra, the spine bones, lift up. And we're going to try to isolate them so that imagine you zipping slowly up your coat, zipper by zipper, as we let the back curl up and then curl down. So with every breath, just curling up And as you start coming up the back, just let the hands be down by the side of the body. Palms facing down so you've got a bit of support if you need it. And just rolling up and down. Lifting up and rolling down slowly. Vertebra by vertebra. And see if you can really feel those. 5 in the lumbar spine. And 12 in the thoracic spine. And if you can, come all the way up, but only if you're able to roll slowly down in a controlled way. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see how Helen's getting on. Look, beautiful control. And as we lift up, we're starting to use the thigh muscles as well as the tummy, and then we're coming all the way up, we're using our buttock muscles as well. And when you've done that as much as you want to, hug your knees in, and if you like, you can roll side to side. So lower down, hug your knees in, and you can give your back a little massage, roll side to side. Don't squish your knees too tight if you've got your hands around your shin, because that can hurt the knee, so you have your hands on the knee itself. Now keep one knee into the chest and stretch the other leg away, and you'll feel a really good stretch in the front of the hip. So we're softening into the right and really stretching the left. Bring the left back up. Push the right away. Softening in the left and pushing. So I've got my right heel pushing away, my toes are up. Really feeling that stretch in the front of my right hip. Fantastic. And now put both feet back on the ground, hip width apart, and we're going to do that lovely twist. I'm just going to make some space so I don't spill my flour. I've got my knees and my knees and my feet are hip width apart. And last week, this is the way we did the twist. So we just let both knees drop over, and you can see that lovely stretch there. Got my shoulders down, and I can just turn to look. So we're going to call this level 1. Bring the top leg up and then the bottom leg. That's the easiest way to get up. Make sure your back is straight before you go over to the other side. And you'll feel that wonderful stretch around the waist. Try to keep the shoulder down. You can look over towards the opposite side. And now bring one knee up and then the other. And make sure that your back is straight before you move. Now that's level 1. So level 2, we've got both feet together, both knees are together. So when we go over this time, we're stacking the knee and the feet are on top of each other, and it's a much bigger stretch here. So if it's uncomfortable, you can't get your knees down, please stay with level 1. And my shoulder's still down, I'm still looking over my shoulder. So this is a progressive class, a progressive course, which can take several weeks or even 3 months if you're not used to doing these things. So don't feel you have to do everything in one go. So lift both legs up if you can together, otherwise bring one at a time. Make sure you're straight before you go over to the other side. If level 2 seems to be too far out of your reach, then please go back to level 1. So level 1, I've got my feet apart, my knees apart. So Helen's going to do level 2, I'm going to do level 1. Going over to the side, lovely stretch here in the waist. Lovely twist in the lower back. And then I'm going to bring one leg up and then the other. Now if you're actually sitting in the chair, obviously you can't do this, but you can do a little twisting movement and just get the hips moving like that. Excellent. Let's lie on our tummies. So we're going to roll over onto our tummy. So I'm going to face one way so that you get a good view of the camera. Pardon? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Okay, so my legs are relaxed. My legs are together if that's comfortable. My forehead's on the floor. I've got my hands either side of my face. My thumbs are level with my eyes. This is what we did last week, so we're going to breathe in, lifting the chest bone, lifting, feel the strength between the shoulder blades. The back of my neck is long, and now I'm relaxing. I'm breathing in again, I'm lifting my chest bone, feel the strength between the shoulder blades, and I'm tucking my elbows underneath my shoulders. Now I'm looking down between my hands so that I'm not putting a crease in the back of my neck, because that would hurt my neck. And I'm old enough now, I get quite dizzy when I lift my chin up like that. So I've got the back of my neck long, looking down towards my hands. And you want a lovely straight line from the shoulder to the elbow, and the front of the arms are in the number 11 shape. And now relax down, bring the forehead back down towards the floor, and allow yourself to relax. So that's level 1. If you would like to progress, move your hands forward by the length of one hand. And this time when we lift up, lifting up from the forehead, breathing in, lifting, and just got the arms slightly bent, so I can't put my elbows down because I'm actually pushing. But we don't want the shoulders up near the ears. We want a lovely long neck, and now relax down. And my forehead's down to lengthen the back of my neck. So I'm just going to repeat those. Level 1, I've got my, starting off with my thumbs next to my eyes, and I'm tucking my elbows in. This is level 1, this is called the Sphinx. So the Sphinx was a very regal creature which they used in ancient Egypt to guard the entrance to the temples. So you need to look regal. Lift the chest bone here, the sternum, look very regal, and relax. And then level 2, we've just taken the hands forward by one hand, and now when we lift up, our elbows are still bent, our shoulders are way away from our ears, back of my neck is still long, and this is a much stronger lift with a bit of a more of a strength of the back muscles. This is called the cobra. We're looking down like a cobra would look down before it pounces. And relax. Now please don't overdo those two exercises if you're not used to doing them. And there should be no pain or tightness here in the small of the back. Absolutely fantastic, well done. So just allow the body to relax. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. And this time we're going to take our attention to our feet. So I'm going to turn round. Ow! Sorry. Still got a bad knee. No, so can you stay like that? So that we've got two different positions, okay? So I'm tucking the toes of my right foot under my left leg. So when I tuck the toes under, it lifts the kneecap and it strengthens the whole leg, pushing it away. Push the heel away and relax. And now take the attention to the left, tuck the toes under, push the heel away, lift the whole leg. I've got cramp in my right leg, so I'm just going to give it a little stretch. Oops, still got cramp. Push the heel away and then relax. Okay, so the next stage, we tuck the toes under and you keep the leg where it is now and point the toes away. So I'm not lifting the leg any higher. And you can feel how hard you're working with around the muscles around your buttocks and your thigh to maintain that. Lower that leg. Make sure your shoulders are still relaxed. Tuck the toes of my left leg now, tuck the toes under, push the heel away, and then point the toes away. I'm not lifting any higher. And relax. And this time, take the feet as wide as the mat, and you can turn the face to one side or the other, and relax in the crocodile pose. And as you relax, just think about all those wonderful muscles in the back that you've used. You used your upper body around the shoulders, and you've now used your lower legs. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to ask Helen now to push back with her hands, with her feet, her knees are wide apart, her toes are together. Push back, push back, push back, push back, and stretch the hands in front of you into the child pose. Try to lengthen the back by pushing away with the hands and pushing your bottom towards the heels. And when you've had a lovely stretch, come up onto all fours. So if your knees are uncomfortable, you can put a blanket or a cushion under the knee that's hurting. And if this is uncomfortable for the wrists or the shoulders or the elbows, then you can come down like this, or we can do it in a standing position, which is what I did last week. So last week, what we did was we tucked our tailbone under and we allowed the spine to rise in a lovely wave until our chin finally tucks under, and then lift the tailbone, reverse the spinal wave until you've lifted your chin, but we're not sinking too far down here. If we sink too far down, everything just gives way here. So it's a controlled movement, opening up the vertebra one by one. So my feet are hip width apart, my knees are hip width apart, my hands are under my shoulders, my middle fingers are pointing forward. I'm lifting up my tailbone now, and then as I change my breath, I'm lifting the small of my back, my chin's on my chest, and then I reverse it again. So this is level 1. This is called the cat, and this might be where you want to stay. And certainly if you're doing this standing up, you won't be able to do the next movement. So the next movement, level 2, we're going to take it into the tiger. So our hands stay where they are, and as we so we're tucking under like this, and then as we straighten, we take our leg back. But I want you you to be very aware of your pelvis not to be tilting. So we don't want any twisting, and the weight needs to remain evenly distributed. So when you bring your knee back down with the breath, you're going to bring the knee towards the nose, and that automatically arches the back. And then you're breathing in, stretching, when the back of the neck's still long. Breathing out. And just do 3 on each side. If this is too strong, if you feel that your weight is moving over, then please stay with level 1. So when you've done 3 on your left, put your hands back down, place your knees and feet hip width apart, and we're going to arch our backs. And then as we straighten them, we uncurl that lovely spinal wave. Take the right leg back in a straight line. Make sure your back's not tipping, that your weight's evenly distributed. Bring the knee towards the nose, arching up. And allow the movement and the breath to flow together. And you may find that one side is a bit more wobbly than the other side. That's something to work on to get strength stronger. So put your toes together, your knees are wide, put your fists one on top of the other, and just relax now. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we're going to go back on our backs. So level 1 we did last week. We had our knees hip width apart and our feet hip width apart, and we pushed the heel along the floor, keeping the tummy muscles tight, the small of the back pressed into the floor, and in a very controlled way. Just get the foot moving up and down slowly. We have a lovely movement controlled by our tight tummy muscles. And now take that movement to the other side. And if that's very easy, then you can lift your heel by a couple of centimetres or an inch. Keep the tummy muscles tight. Keep the small of the back on the floor. Push the heel away so the leg is straight, parallel to the floor, and then bring the heel back in, place it down, and change legs. Push the heel away, just slightly above the floor, and then bring it back in. Okay, that's level 1. So if level 1's really, really easy, then you can bring both legs up. Keep the small of the back on the floor, keep your tummy muscles tight, put one foot down on the floor, lift it back up, and change. But the small of the back's got to be touching the floor, lifting and lowering in a controlled way. So remember, if this is too difficult for you to keep the small of the back down, then just carry on here with level 1. This is progressive class that I'd expect people who've never done these things to need a few weeks to get the strength. So take your choice, take your time. Excellent. And when you're ready, Just roll slightly to the side and come up into a sitting position. Now you might need a cushion under your bottom to help you sit up straight, or you might need cushions under your knees to help you, or you might need to lean against something. But what we're aiming for is a lovely straight spine. So if I can just ask Helen to move back a tiny bit so that you can see my straight spine here. It's got a little hollow, so we're not losing that by slumping. We're keeping that lovely straight spine here. If you're able to, you can bend one leg and just take the foot out very slightly. Keep the straight spine, put the hand somewhere on the leg, and a very, very small movement. You can see that I actually can't go very far into this, but I'm trying to maintain the straight spine here. If I just fall forward, then that's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for that lovely, strong, straight spine. So lift your chest bone, the sternum, keep it lifted. I'm not pulling, I'm not trying to force myself. And then relax. Change position. Tuck the leg in. If you've got pain in the knee or the hip, then keep both legs straight. You can still get the same movement. If you have your knee bent like that, you're just loosening up into the hip a little bit more. Make sure your body's in a straight line with your leg before you start that creeping forward movement. And you can see that I just adjusted, I just pushed my hips back a tiny bit just so that I could tip forward, keeping the small of my back upright, straight. My sternum is lifted. My chin's level. I'm not lifting my head up like that because that makes me dizzy. My toes are up, and that engages all the muscles of the leg. I'm not pulling, I'm not forcing this. Very gentle. Fantastic. Excellent. Okay, so now let's come up to a standing. Very good. I hope you're all still with me. I hope you're still enjoying this. I hope your back feels wonderful. So last week we did the tree. Let's do the tree again. Remember, there's a choice. You can either put your toes on you can put your heel on your toes, or you can put your heel on your ankle. You can put your foot against your calf. We're not putting our foot against our knee because that pushes the knee. If all of those things are slightly out of reach, then just keep the foot on the floor. We don't want the tree falling over. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more space. So make sure your standing leg, which is your tree trunk, is really, really strong and tall. Feel the roots growing into the earth. Lift up here, lift up your sternum. Remember that keeps your tummy muscles tight. And then as we're breathing in, we lift the foot to our chosen level. So you can keep it on your toes or by your ankle or up on your calf. Lift up really tall. The flat of the top of the head should be reaching up towards the roof, but not by lifting the chin. Nice and tall. If anybody else is doing this anywhere near you and they're wobbling, makes you feel a bit wobbly. So just gaze at one point that's not moving. And as you breathe out, lower your arms. If it's uncomfortable, if you've got painful shoulders, you don't need to raise them above the head. When your arms are up like this, make sure the shoulders are not up around the ears. You can still get the same benefit of balance. The strength of the muscles is all in the balance. And lower. Sorry, I talked all the way through that. Let's try on the other side. So decide where you want your foot. Lift. Put your foot where you want it to. Shoulders are down, not around the ears. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And relax. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. This is my favourite pose if I've got too much to do. I find by doing the tree first thing in the morning just relaxes me, calms me down. Most of the things I think I need to do that I've been worrying about all night, I don't really need to do them. There's no hurry. So try it next time. Okay? Big breath in. Keep the shoulders relaxed and soft. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And relax. So if you've got a nice private garden, you can do the tree pose outside next to your favourite tree. Just adds a sense of appreciation for our spring, the buds on the leaves and everything, the buds on the trees. Okay, excellent. So we're going to just do that last little sequence where we started last week. This is just to loosen up the whole body and make sure that we've gone through every single joint. So my feet are planted, my toes are not scrunched up, my weight is evenly distributed, my feet are about hip width apart, my knees are soft, lift up through the tummy, lift up through the chest bone, the sternum, shoulders are relaxed, standing in our mountain pose again. And now just feel the weight rocking gently, front to back on your feet, side to side, very small movement just to use all these muscles to keep you stable. And then you can just take that movement in a tiny circle one way and then a tiny circle the other way. Excellent. Come back to standing. Make sure that your weight's evenly distributed again. And stretch up through the chest bone. Lift the arm above the head. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, a little side bend. Keeping the hips still so that we're not taking the whole body weight. The legs are both straight and the stretch is in the side ribs. Breathing in as you come back up, swap hands. Breathing in, breathing out. Lovely stretch down the side. Breathing in and relax. And of course you can repeat that if you wish. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in. Change hands. And relax. Now we're going to take our little fingers quite close together. That just rotates the shoulders in a little bit so that when we lift our arms, we're actually moving the fascial band all the way from our shoulders all the way down our back into our legs. One great big band that holds all the muscles together. You can come onto your tiptoes if you want to. Remember to look at something that's not moving and relax. Allow the arms to relax. If this is uncomfortable for your shoulders, then just keep them here by your side. See if you can get that balance. Lift and relax. Put your fingertips on the shoulders and with big circles, feel the shoulder blades moving. See if you can get the elbows to touch at the front. See if you can get them to touch at the back. Obviously they're not going to touch at the back, but you're just going to get that shoulder blade to move. And bring it round the other way. Very different movement, feels very different. Relax your arms, little rotation into the shoulder. The whole shoulder joint likes to be moved like this. So I'm not moving from my elbow or my wrist, my whole shoulder. Remember, my feet are hip width apart, my knees are soft, still got my tummy muscles engaged. And now I'll put my fingers on my shoulders, bring my shoulder blades really close together at the back, and then release. Bring them together at the back. And breathe in. Excellent. And relax the arms. Okay, so now we're going to do our rotation of the neck. So we'll just take the chin to one side, bring it forward, take the chin the other way. Very slowly. If you do this quickly, it'll make you dizzy. Very slow, careful movements. Creaking and crackling in the joints means you need to do it more often, but just do it slowly. And now, little rotation, circling with the chin. When you bring it down, bring it in, try to make 3 or 4 double chins. Bring it up the neck and out. Excellent. And now we're going to do the twist into our spine. So my feet have moved a little bit further away than hip width. I'm turning my left toes out, my back heel is coming up, and I'm just breathing out as I turn. If you just let your right foot turn all the way, you'll get, that's it, much more movement. And come back to the front. Turn both feet, so my right foot's going out to the wall, my left heel's lifting, and my foot's going to come with me as I turn. Excellent. So now we're going to do our little back bend. Got my hands on the small of my back. Feet are hip width apart. Keep the chin tucked in. We're not going to take the neck back. So breathing in, lift the sternum, lift the tummy muscles. Little back bend. Come forward with a straight, strong back. Allow the arms to drop. Bend the knees deeply. And as you uncurl, try to stack the spine bones up one by one. Hands on the small of my back, chin's tucked in, lift the sternum, little back bend, not so far, little back bend, little back bend, keep the tummy muscles really tight in, and now come forward, straight strong back till halfway, relax the arms down, bend the knees deeply, allow the fingers to trail up the front of the leg, into the standing position. Last time, hands on the small of the back, keep the tummy lifted. We're trying not to move the back, the tummy area, we're just moving the top of the back. That's it, now come forward. And this time, allow the hands to come down into a deep squat if you're able to. Maybe you can lift up in a balance. Put the fingers back down. This time lift up your buttocks. Lift your bottom, put your heels back down. You can keep your knees bended. If you can't quite reach the floor, you can put the hands on the front of the leg and then uncurl. Excellent. So it's time to relax. So if you'd like to lie down on the floor, or if you're still in your chair, you can make yourself comfortable. You might need a blanket if the room's a bit chilly, because you've been doing some exercise. I don't want you to get cold. Would you like a blanket? Okay, thank you. So if you have your feet just slightly further than hip width apart, let your toes drop out. You can turn your palms up so that they face the ceiling, and that brings your hands slightly away from the body, and that just tucks the shoulder blades under the body, lifts up the chest bone, the sternum. Keep the chin level, so we don't want the back of the neck screwed tight. Just let the back of the neck be long, and just feel your body feel heavy and relaxed on the floor. Take your awareness to your breathing. Your breathing should be in your belly. When we're relaxed, we belly breathe. And now just slowly scan the body. See if there's any tension, any tightness, any discomfort. You might need a cushion under the knees, and that can sometimes help relieve any tightness in the lower back. You might need something under your head just so that you don't feel as though you're really, really flat. Because this might be the position that you're not used to lying in, because normally in bed we have a couple of pillows. So just start with your toes. Give your toes a little wiggle, and now see whether they feel any tightness in the feet. Push the heels away and then relax. Let's do that again, because you'll see that it tenses up all the muscles in the legs, including the kneecap, and then when you relax them, the whole leg can relax. Take your awareness to your bottom and just give it a little squeeze and relax. And take the awareness to your tummy, your chest, your back, and take a big breath. And as you let it go, let all the muscles feel soft and heavy. Take the awareness to your hands. You can tighten into fists, turn your arms around if you need to. And as you put your hands down, open the hands, allow the arms to settle. And now take your awareness to your face. Make sure your teeth are not clenched, that your tongue's not squashed against the roof of your mouth. Lift your eyebrows and relax. Give a frown and then relax. And now give a smile and then relax. And just spend a few minutes allowing the muscles to settle. And I'd like to congratulate you again for doing this class. I hope that you'll feel the benefits over the next few weeks of doing a little bit of yoga, strengthening the back muscles, taking some time for yourself. And remember, we need to do the relaxation in between all these exercises. The crocodile, the child pose, all this deep relaxation. Okay, Helen, so when you're ready, I just want you to take a deeper breath in. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, just move your legs slightly. And when you're ready, you can roll over onto one side. And push yourself to sitting. So in yoga we say namaste, which is a greeting, a blessing, and a thank you. Namaste. See you next week for week